1.7 trillion Skyblock coins. That's over 1,000 Hyperions and worth more than $150,000 of real-life money. It is also the amount of coins the Wildism coin shop has illegally bought and sold in the past 15 months. Is this legal? Of course not. Do these coin sellers care? Of course not. Wait, so you're 16 years old and you've made over $20,000 in real life off of Minecraft?
Yeah.
Wildism was a regular Skyblock player when he fell down the rabbit hole to create an illegal Skyblock coin empire and profited tens of thousands of dollars as a high schooler. This is his story. This video discusses players who consistently break a number of Hypixel's rules. If you do anything mentioned here, you will get banned. 7,000 hours is the amount of time Wildism spent on Skyblock before doing anything illegal. Well, except for selling splashes. Back before God Potions were a thing, Wild created a server where he sold access to potion splashes for real life money. Those who paid were invited to receive all the top potion effects in the game, and Wild profited a fair bit from that venture. This was the first time he did anything to break the Hypixel rules. But did it matter? There were no consequences for people who cheated and IRL traded. At least, that's what he thought. When Floor 7 of the Dungeons was released in October of 2020, Wild got on the grind. He was one of the first people to get Catacombs level 30 and played to reach the leaderboard. While on this grind, he dabbled in the dark arts just a little bit. Wild created a keyboard macro that would cycle through his bonemerangs so he could kill enemies faster. Sure, no chance of getting caught. After a couple of months though, he upped the ante and installed Hail 9. Hail 9 was the first major Dungeons cheating client and provided an insane number of hacks to complete the floors in record time. When people began to get wiped for using Hail, Wild uninstalled the client because he was afraid of a ban. Even still, Hail 9 opened the door for other Skyblock cheating clients, and Wild then installed Shady Add-ons and later Oringo, which are two other hacked clients much more sophisticated than Hail 9. By October of 2021, he had completed Floor 7 over 5,000 times. But then, the thinkable happened. He got banned. Despite being blacklisted from Hypixel, Wild still had all of his stuff. He claimed his main account's items on an alt that was in the same co-op, grinded out on that, and was banned and wiped on the alt just a month later. After this, he went to some of his friends saying, "Yo, I don't have an account, can I play on yours?" And this worked. Don't share your accounts, kids. Trust me, it's not a good idea. Knowing the risks, one of Wild's homies, who didn't play much Skyblock anymore, gave Wild his login details, but even for Wildism, the game was starting to get stale. The repetitive nature of Skyblock and the seemingly endless need to gather wealth made Wild want to spice things up. While on one of Skyblock's many incessant grinds, Wild installed a macro. So getting to a high farming level requires copious amounts of crop harvesting, and to accelerate the rate at which he was getting there, Wild began to macro sugarcane. Soon though, everything changed when he installed a script to grind netherwort for him. This time, not for farming XP, but for cash. In combination with the fast break cheat, Wildism was gaining upwards of 7 million coins an hour. That's pretty decent considering it's totally AFK and could run overnight. This was in January of 2022, and Wild had a complete paradigm shift when a friend asked to buy some of his extra coins. Since he was generating so much, Wild said yes, and this was the first time since his days of running that Splash server that he had IRL traded. Soon, word spread that this Wildism kid had hell of coins to sell, and he entered various Discord servers advertising his rates. After seeing another server selling coins for 11 cents per million, where $100 nets the buyer about 900 million coins, Wild undercut them and sold his supply at a rate of 10 cents per mil. With all the illicit trading Wild was involved in, his friends advised him to open up an official coin shop, something he did on March 10th. As demand skyrocketed, he had to figure out a way to increase his supply as well, and so Wild once again turned to his friends, who started macro mining. In the Crystal Hollows, mining is super profitable, meaning macroing there is even more profitable. Nowadays, doing that is pretty risky because there's a lot of people on alert who know what macroers look like, but back when the Hollows were first released, no one was the wiser. Mining macroers brought in 15 million coins an hour, but even with his friends doing all of that, demand was still outstripping the supply. Suddenly, Wildism had two ideas. The first was to buy coins off of other macroers, flip them, and resell them. And the second idea was to buy from people who were quitting, flip those coins, and, of course, resell them. There are tons of people who can macro, but finding buyers is pretty difficult, so Wildism became a middleman more than anything else. On top of that, there are loads of wealthy Skyblock players who quit and leave behind a massive net worth. Oftentimes, selling in bulk to an IRL trading platform is a lot more efficient than potentially finding a dozen buyers to sell directly to, so Wildism bought coins off of people looking for that easy cash. As demand was increasing more and more, Wildism knew he couldn't handle everything, so he hired a few managers. These managers also acted as middlemen, dealing with orders and the like. The shop also doesn't sell coins generated from duplication glitches, something which was pretty surprising to me. As I learned, there are a number of people on Skyblock who are willing to pay significant amounts of real money, sometimes upwards of $2,000, for working duplication methods. At the current rates, $2,000 is worth about 20 billion coins, and good luck duping that much without getting caught. Something else I was surprised to learn about is that the shop's coins are mostly sourced from wealthy players who quit the game. Wildism estimates that about 80% of all of their stock is from rich Skyblock players who want to cash out. That means only a small portion of the coins sold actually come from macroing. So, Wildism opened his shop on March 10th, and by May, they had already sold over 100 billion coins, or $10,000 worth. The growth was exponential. By June, the total coins sold counted over 500 billion, and by now, they've sold over 1.7 trillion. The summer of 2022 was by far the highest volume of sales, with coins being bought every 20 to 30 minutes. With this, Wild jacked up the prices to 12 cents per million, but allowed players to access the rates of 10 cents a mil if they paid a flat $5 membership fee. Since then, 4,000 people have become members, netting Wild a fat stack of cash. To attract more members to the server, he partnered with Oringo and the pizza client, but a lot of drama went down. The Discord server was terminated multiple times, and while Wild was on a break, two of his managers exit scammed. Exit scamming is when people forsake their middleman reputations to walk away with as much profit as possible. And when these two managers exit scammed, that lost Wild his Oringo partnership. The profits have nonetheless been immense, with more than 900 total buyers. If everyone who bought those coins subscribed right now, I would have at least 900 subscribers. So, subscribe. Because IRL trading is strictly forbidden on Hypixel, the admins are always watchful and have automatic detection systems to make sure people aren't illegally transferring large sums of money. To try avoid these detection systems, illegal shops have employed a number of techniques, the first of which was the null head trade. By adding a null head into a trade with tens of millions of coins, the theory was that the null would somehow make the trade hidden or even cancel it in the records. There's nothing to confirm that this was the case, so it might have been a whole bunch of cope. Even still, when people were getting banned because of that, some players switched to nullhead roleplaying. This is when sellers go into lobbies, say, first to guess the number between 1 to 10 gets 500 million coins. Of course, the buyer would be primed with the correct number, and the seller would then give them the 500 million with a null head. Some people even did fake giveaways, but the admins have picked up on that and are more likely to strike it down. The next transfer method also involved the null heads, which, I'll reiterate, we don't know if they actually changed anything. Anyway, IRL traders have used exotic items like dyed dragon armor and other uniquely dyed armor in combination with the null and loads of coins to try to forego detection. Despite on paper being not worth very much, those exotics sell for incredible amounts of money among legit players. If an admin sees the trade, the idea is that he or she may shrug it off as an exotic sale. There have been several transfer methods with the bazaar, locating items with low sell offers, creating a bunch of offers at a high value, and then having the seller buy the entire stock. This is similar to the manner in which Sikofari stole 500 million coins to gain 2.1 million views. Another method is to add an account to the buyer's co-op, trade with another account, kick the original from the co-op, and then salvage their items to make everything drop on the ground. Even today though, the shops have different methods for trading, because the biggest risk is if a buyer gets wiped. Because of this, in Wildism's shop, the coins are only ever actually held by the people who have them or the people who create them. Wildism and his team then collect the buyers with the sellers, and then that way only one trade or transfer is done to reduce the risk of anyone getting wiped. Wild and several other IRL trading shop owners had a group chat together where they created a quasi-cartel situation. The agreement was for everyone to keep their coin prices around the same so everyone except the buyers could maximize profits. Every single person except for Wildism himself has had their original Discord account terminated, so Wild is the only one of them still in that group. As with many illicit activities, there are often all kinds of shenanigans which occur. For instance, one former member of Refraction's co-op sold contraband coins to Wildism. When Refraction and the other members found out, that guy was kicked from the co-op and lost his YouTube rank. Another individual was a member of Refraction's main Dungeons party while simultaneously being a massive seller to the shop. That was before he ratted 3 people, got kicked from the Dungeons party, and then exit scammed to walk away with tons of cash. As of today, Wildism is still going at it. He no longer creates his own coins, but just connects buyers with sellers. Each transaction is profiting him between 3 and 5 cents per million coins transferred, and he and his shop are moving incredible amounts of cash. The biggest transaction they've ever had was 16 billion coins, or more than 1,500 real-life dollars. The most anyone has ever bought in multiple transactions, or in terms of lifetime purchases, is around 25 billion. That's $2,500 in real life. There are even some people who put a portion of their paycheck each week towards Skyblock coins. We know this because they message the shop saying things like, "just got back from work," and will buy coins consistently on Friday or Saturday every week or every other week as their paycheck rolls in. One of Wildism's partners named Blazy has made over $30,000 because he's dabbled in the account selling business, and that was enough for him to buy a new car. At the moment, he's saving for another one, which costs $70,000. What's even crazier though is that Wildism himself has made more than 20k personally, and he's a 16-year-old. When I was 16, I was trying to make money off YouTube, but it didn't really work out like that. Wild is the rare case of someone cheating off Skyblock and actually getting away with it. Most players get caught, wiped, and all of their illicit work goes down the drain. If you want to see more videos like this one and have suggestions, join my Discord and message me your ideas. I've been your host Sudi, and I'll see you guys next time.